G'day and welcome, my name's Matt and we're here today to look at this little shock mount that I've built. It's for a Rode Videomic Me that lets us mount it on a DSLR or mirrorless camera. Recently I paid another visit to Make Hack Void, the local Canberra makerspace, and I got to play with the 3D printer again, and this is what we came out with. It's a little shock mount. I downloaded the original model from Thingiverse and modified this one slightly to give myself a chance at a more successful print, because the one that I was looking at had a few minor issues with it. But this is the microphone clip. Okay, so the microphone clip itself, it's printed in ABS plastic, and when I printed it horizontally, like so, laying down. By printing it horizontally, the grain of the 3D print is stronger in the directions we need it to be. Before I get too much into the performance of this thing, let's spend a minute or two to show you how to mount it to a camera and how to use it. Well, obviously you need a camera, and it actually mounts pretty easily. It's a standard cold shoe mount, so it'll just allow you to slot it onto the camera like that. And the way it's built, it actually fits in there quite firmly, so I don't think there's an issue with it falling out or anything. Not that I've experienced so far anyway. So that's the mounting the actual shock mount to the camera. And then with the microphone, the little Rode Videomic Me, it simply just clicks into position like that. Like that. And then that's the camera and the microphone mounted together. Now I've got the mic mounted onto the shock mount with the camera. We need a cable to connect the two. So because the Rode Videomic Me is designed for smartphones, we need an adapter cable that converts from the tip ring sleeve, so it's got 3 little loops and then the tip. We need an adapter cable that will connect from that to the camera, which is a standard tip ring sleeve or TRS jack. Now, handy thing about this is that Rode actually make one for their smart lavs. So it's a nice little cable, and for my camera it's a perfect length to clip on there, and then we open up the little spot here and clip it into the mic input. And then if I turn it on, this is just the camera running Magic Lantern. It's not going to show up very good. Okay, I was hoping it was going to show up a bit better, but maybe I'll test that again. Yeah, so it does work. I believe that the Rode cable is about $15 or so. So you may not want to spend that money on an extra cable. So what you can do is you can head over to eBay and you can pick up one of these things. I'll leave a link down in the description on where to find one of these. But essentially, it's a cable that adapts from, just like the Rode SC3 cable, it adapts from your tip ring sleeve, like the headphones that comes with your smartphone, but this time it's got 2 connectors. So one's actually for headphones, the other one's for the microphone. So what we want to use with this is the microphone cable, and you can just leave the headphone cable disconnected. But that will allow us to connect for a matter of like $3 or something, I think this costs. Alright, so one last thing that I'll mention before we turn the camera on and have a bit of a test is the Rode little dead cat that came with the camera, with the microphone. So ordinarily the dead cat actually clips onto the same place that we're connecting the clip to. So if you slide it on to the camera, it stays, but it's not quite as strong. Also, you need to slide it right forward on the clip just to make sure it kind of has something to grip to. So that's probably the biggest downside with this and the dead cat. It seems to hold, but just a little bit precarious, I think. But for sakes of clarity, what we'll do is we'll set that to the side. Okay, so that is the microphone on the camera. It's ready to use, and if we turn the camera back on again, looks like it's turned itself off, so we can see I'll put it up here, maybe that'll focus and you can see it on the smartphone. Yeah, so you can see it metering there, indicating that it is working in this setup. What I was worried about before I even started printing this clip was whether the clip would act like a spring and actually amplify shocks and taps to the camera. And to a degree that does actually happen, but what we have done is added a little shock absorber, which I'll show in a minute and demonstrate how it works. What I'll do now is I will hit record. So having the shock absorber, and which in this case is this little tiny piece of foam I've put between the two layers. It's actually two layers of double-sided sticky tape. And it allows me to, if I just knock on that, it will not sound too bad. Although the real kind of demonstrator was when you actually do flick that, and you can see it still does vibrate a little bit. But what I might do in a second is remove this double-sided tape, and then we can get a feel for the sound on how it goes without it. Okay, so now this is the camera in without any shock mounting. So I can feel already by just tapping it, you can feel the vibration of the mount kind of bouncing. And if I do the little flick, you might be able to tell that it sounds a lot worse than the original example when I had the little foam piece in it. So I think what I'll be doing is I'll leaving that foam piece in there as a little shock absorber. It still suppresses the movement. It doesn't transfer too much sound. It doesn't transfer too many vibrations through. One thing I noted with the testing of this mount, which is the original version that I printed that's connected straight through, is that it will actually transfer the motor focus movements and sounds through into the microphone. Whereas with this setup here, it actually doesn't allow that vibration to come through so much, which is pretty handy. So now the only thing left with this microphone clip is to give it a go. This is going to go into my bag, and anytime I do some video shooting with this, I'll give it a go, see how the clip performs in the long run, see how it holds up. I'll have to do another video at some point, let you guys and girls know how this operates and whether it's worth it in the long run.